Okay, today we're going to finish the creating linear functions piece. So your notebook should be open to page 43, or you're taking a piece of paper and putting page 43 on it. It's 5.2, creating linear functions. Like I said, that's page 43. You'll need some highlighters out today. If you need to write in your notebook, write in your notebook. Otherwise, we've got a foldable. All right, the foldable looks like this. We are doing the word problem creating today. Okay. And from the beginning, the first three, we're going to be using slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. And since we're using slope-intercept form, we will be identifying the slope and the y-intercept. Here's the slope. That's where we'll plug it in once we find it. And the y-intercept. Okay. So we are supposed to identify the slope and y-intercept of the graph that represents each linear situation and interpret what they mean. Then write an equation in slope-intercept form and use it to solve the problem. So number one, for one taxi company, the cost of y dollars of a taxi ride is a linear function of the distance x in miles traveled. The initial charge is $2.50. By the way, the initial charge is always the y-intercept. Initial charge, or where you start out, that is always the y-intercept. And the charge per mile, the reason why the slope will be 0.35 is because we have that word per right there. The charge per mile is 35 cents. Find the cost of riding a distance of 10 miles. We'll worry about that later. Let's write the equation first. So the equation is y equals, the slope is 0.35. Then we put an x. Okay, and the initial charge is $2.50, and it's positive $2.50. Okay, so there are our pieces here. That's the first part of this. The second part is to answer the question. The question says, find the total cost of riding a distance of 10 miles. I'm going to do this over here so you don't get them confused. This was the equation. This is solving or finding a solution. Okay. That means instead of x, we're going to plug in a 10. 0.35 times 10 plus 2.5. Oh. Okay, 0.35 times 10 is 350 plus 250 is 6. And it is cost, so it's dollars. It's $6. Okay, let's do the second one. A chairlift descends from a mountaintop to pick up skiers at the bottom. The height in feet of the chairlift is a linear function of the time in minutes since it begins descending as shown in the graph. Find the height of the chairlift 2 minutes after it begins descending. This is the question we'll have to go back and answer, which means our description or sentence up here did not tell us any of the information we need. We'll have to look at the graph to find that. We need the slope, we need the y-intercept. The easiest one to pick out is the y-intercept. Y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. That's right here. So the y-intercept is 0,5400, which means when we have it in our equation up here, we'll put 5,400. All right, now the slope. We've got 2 points right here. We need to see rise over run what's happening. Now it's going down, so it is going to be a negative slope. It's going down from 5,400 to 2,400, and that's a difference of 3,000. Okay. Then it's going over, and that's going down, so it's negative. It's going over 4. So our slope, m, is 3,000, negative 3,000, divided by 4. And negative 3,000 divided by 4 is negative 750. So we'll write our equation now. Here's our slope. Okay. So y equals negative 750x plus, because it is positive, 5,400. There's part of the answer. Let's get the other part. We are going to plug in 2 minutes to see how it will look on the graph. We also could look at the graph and see what it is. All right, negative 750 times 2 plus 5,400. Negative 750 times 2 is, I think, 1,500, I'm pretty sure. Let's grab a calculator to check. Yeah, negative 1,500 plus 5,400. Add that, and you are going to get 3,900, and let's see what its feet. Okay, so equation and an answer. Number 3. So we had a description, we have a graph, now we're going to have a table. We can still find the slope. Ain't going to kill us. We can do it. You can do it. I know you can. A local club charges an initial membership fee as well as a monthly cost. The total cost C in dollars as a linear function of the number of months of membership. Find the cost of membership after 4 months. All right, let's talk about the y-intercept. The y-intercept is our initial value. It's when x is 0. Our y-intercept is right there. Now the slope. Remember when we talked about how slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1? Well, it's also the change in y divided by the change in x. Okay? That means our slope, m, is equal to the change here. This went up by 177, and this went up by 3. So our slope is 177 divided by 3. That is 59. Okay, so we have our 2 pieces. So y equals 59x plus 177. By the way, that does tell you something. 59 means that the monthly cost is $59. The initial cost was $177. Not 177, 100. Where did I get 177? I'm sorry, not this. 100. The initial cost was $100. All right, now let's answer the question. The question says, find the cost of membership after 4 months. 59 times 4 plus 100. 59 times 4 is 236 plus 100 is 336, and it is cost, so we're going to put dollars. Okay. All right, that is how we create equations with word problems when they are in y equals mx plus b form, slope-intercept. Okay, now we're going to talk about point-slope form. Point-slope form. In case you have forgotten point-slope form, it is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay. We still will have to answer a question. The slope formula you also need is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right, let's talk about this one. Number 4. A gas station has a customer service loyalty program. The graph shows the amount y dollars that 2 members paid for X gallons of gas. Use an equation to find the amount a member would pay for 22 gallons of gas. So we'll find that out. So we've got 2 points. Let's label them x1, y1, and x2, y2. So our slope m is equal to 49 minus 10 over 18 minus 5. That is 39 divided by 13, which is 3. There's our slope. And then we're going to use this point to plug into this equation. We will then simplify. Y minus 10 equals m, which is 3, times x minus 5. We are simplifying, so distribute. Y minus 10 equals 3x minus 15, then add 10. Y equals 3x minus 5. This equation means that a member is paying $3 per gallon of gas, and then you get to take off $5. Now, that might sound outrageous, but back when this book was written, gas was a little bit more expensive than it is right now. Thankfully, gas is a little cheaper than that now. Now let's answer the question, which says, use an equation to find the amount a member would pay for 22 gallons. So 3 times 22 minus 5. And this is paying, so it would be dollars. We got 66 minus 5, and that is $61 for 22 gallons of gas. Again, quite a bit, but gas was more expensive before. Okay. Next, a roller skating ring offers a special rate for birthday parties. On the same day, a party for 10 skaters costs $107, and a party for 15 skaters costs $137. How much would a party for 12 skaters cost? This will be the final piece I have to answer. Let's solve the rest of it, though. All right, here's what I got going on. I actually have 2 points up here. I have a party with 10 skaters that costs $107. I have a party with 15 skaters that costs $137. Those are our 2 points that we're going to use in the slope formula and in the equation. x1, y1, x2, y2. M equals 137 minus 107 divided by 15 minus 10. 137 minus 107 is 30. 15 minus 10 is 5. And when you divide that, you get 6. There's our slope. Okay, and remember we're using x1, y1 then. So y minus 107 equals 6 times x minus 10. Then we'll distribute. Y minus 107 equals 6x minus 60. Add 107. Y equals 6x plus 47. There's our equation. Now we need to solve this. How much would a party for 12 skaters cost? 6 times 12 plus 47. 6 times 12 is 72 plus 47 is $119. All right, last thing we're going to do is we're going to do some more word problems, but we're going to put them in standard form. So we did slope intercept, point slope. Now we're going to do standard. We're going to write standard form above that as well. Here's standard form. Standard form is AX plus BY equals C. Okay? We will be doing things based on their intercepts in standard form because that's easier. So, number 6. The Band Boosters Club is selling t-shirts for $10 each and blanket wraps for $25 each. The band director has asked the club to raise $1,000. All right, we're going to go a little different with our colors. We're not going to use green for slope, and we're not going to use pink for the Y intercept. What we're going to do is just highlight the important information. The Band Boosters Club is selling t-shirts for $10 each. That's important. We've got the word each, so we're going to use 10T. And I'm using 10T because right here there's a T. I need to use the variables they give us. Okay. The next important set of information in orange. And blanket wraps for $25 each. B is the variable we're going to use. So plus, because it's and, 25B. Okay. The band director has asked the club to raise $1,000. They would like this to be $1,000. So that means it's going to be equal to $1,000. Okay, we are supposed to graph this. We will then come back and answer the question. So we'll come back and answer, how many blanket wraps will the club need to sell if there are 50 t-shirts sold? Okay, we need to find the x-intercept, except it's not x, the t-intercept and the b-intercept to graph this. So to find the t-intercept, we cover up b, and we have 10t equals 1,000. Divide by 10. T equals 100. So we're going to put a point right here at 100 on T. Now, this is the number of t-shirts. Okay, let's do the same thing for B. Cover up T, so we have 25B equals 1,000. Divide by 25. And B equals 40. So put a point on 40. This is the number of blanket wraps. I don't really know what blanket wraps are. I'm feeling more of the line of a Snuggie, maybe. I don't know. You can make that up yourself, I guess, what a blanket wrap is. All right, then we're going to connect them. And there we got it. We've graphed it. Last, we have to answer the question, and we might not have enough room. I'm hoping we do, but we'll see. So the question, how many blanket wraps will the club need to sell if 50 t-shirts are sold? That means I'm going to need to take this equation, and 50 needs to go right there for T. 10 times 50 plus 25B equals 1,000. Then I need to solve for B. 10 times 50 is 500 plus 25B equals 1,000. Subtract 500. 25B equals 500. Divide by 25. And B equals 20. By the way, you can also find the answer by looking at the graph. If they sold 50 t-shirts, this graph lines up with 20 blanket wraps. You can also look at the graph. I don't care if you look at the graph or have the work, you get to choose. But here was, I'm highlighting the wrong thing, the answer to that question. Okay. Last problem, number 7. A sandwich shop sells sandwiches, I hope they would, for $5 each and bottles of water for $1 each. So important information. Sandwiches are $5 each. So let's say, did they use S? Yes, right here, S. So 5S. I'm going to write it up here so we got enough room to solve the equation. And, so plus, bottles of water for $1 each. They used W. 1W equals. The owner of the shop needs to earn a total of $100 by the end of the day. 100. Later, we're going to come back and answer the question, how many sandwiches must be sold if no waters are sold? We'll do that down here somewhere. Okay, so first we need to graph it, and to graph it we have to find those intercepts. So I'm going to go ahead and fill this out. This is the number of sandwiches. This is number of bottles of water. All right. So we have to find the S-intercept by covering up W. That gives us 5S equals 100. Divide by 5, and S equals 20. 20. Okay. The W-intercept. 1W equals 100, which means W equals 100. And connect. I'm going to show you both ways again, how to solve and how to just use the graph. If you ever get stuck and don't know how to use the graph, I can't pick up my straight edge, sorry. Then you can, at least plug something in. Okay. How many sandwiches must be sold if no waters are sold? That means W is 0. So 5S plus 1 times 0 equals 100. 5S equals 100. We already solved that right here. 5S equals 100, so S equals 20. Here's how I know that, though. If I'm looking, it says how many sandwiches must be sold if no waters are sold. No waters is right here. So I go over until I meet the line. The line is at 20. That's how many I have to sell. Okay? All right, we're going to glue this in, and then you're going to start on your assignment. This goes glued in on page 43. We'll have a quiz tomorrow over all this stuff. It's your first quiz in the new quarter, so you need to do well. All right, there you go.